Welcome to the AI Learners YouTube channel. My name is Hamad, and today we are starting our journey into understanding artificial intelligence by exploring its most fundamental building block, the data. In the previous episode, which was introduction to this course, we talked about how data holds the key and fundamental importance to every concept that is related to AI. In the natural flow of progression for artificial intelligence and its building blocks, we can see here that the data is the beginning. It all starts with the data. The story of artificial intelligence starts with the data. So it holds the most fundamental importance. It's the most basic and fundamental concept one has to understand before diving deeper into the intricacies of artificial intelligence. So let's explore what this data is about. Okay, so we see a chef looking confused into those empty measuring cups, and he must be wondering, what do I bake? I have no ingredients. Now imagine trying to bake a cake without ingredients, which is impossible. That is exactly how the AI works, but without data. Without data, AI is nothing. Just as chef needs flour, eggs, and sugar to create a delicious cake, AI systems need data to learn and perform amazing tasks. Example is ChatGPT. It has been trained on vast amounts of data, the whole internet, and now it can perform amazing tasks. It can generate text for you to your preference, and it can also generate images for you. By the end of this episode, you will understand what data really is and why it matters. And you will also realize that you are already a data processing expert. Your brain has been hardwired or it has learned to perceive and process data. That's how you see, hear, and speak. Now that we have established the importance of data in artificial intelligence, we have to ask this question, this fundamental question that what is data? What is this big blob of data? What does it contain? Where does it come from? How do we perceive it? Data is everywhere, but what is it? The data can be of different forms, such as that such as there are different states of matter, solid, liquid, and gas. There are different forms of data. It can be in form of images that your eyes perceive, any video, photo, shapes, just like the world that you're viewing right now. There's a screen in front of you in which you're watching this video. And it can be any text that you might be reading on anything that's written on, such as like reading through the social media posts, the textual data, or the sound you hear, just like you're hearing my audio. This is the audio data. And if you're counting something, that is the numerical data that you're encountering. So data can take different forms. Let's further understand it with an example of how human brain processes the data. The human brain is already a data processing machine ever since its inception from birth. The brain collects data through five senses. The eyes capture the visual data, the ears process the audio or the sound data. When you touch something, your skin feels that its texture and temperature and sends an instant signal to your brain containing the data about that surface. Similarly, the nose detects the smell data and the tongue processes the taste data. So these are different forms of data that your brain is able to process through different sensory organs. And here is one more interesting fact that the brain is able to process 11 million bits. Yes, 11 million bits of data every second in real time without any lag or any problem. Let's look at the example of human brain processing the data. Now, imagine you wake up in the morning and you usually drink your coffee, and on a table a bit far away, you see a hot cup of coffee, and your brain instantly gets this idea that you need your coffee at that time, at that moment. So that is the visual data first hitting your eyes, and then it is sent to your brain in form of signals. So the brain perceives that data, processes it. Okay, it processes that it has seen a cup of coffee, And then it gets the idea that you need that cup of coffee, you need to drink it. Okay, so the brain processes that information, and then it sends the action signals to your feet and your hands. If the table is a bit far away, you walk towards it, and then you use your hands to pick that cup of coffee and drink from it. With help of examples, we just saw that data can take different types and forms. Anything that you read can be associated with textual data. Thing you count, you can measure. For example, the temperature through thermometer can also be associated to numerical data. The same can be said about sounds, the audio data, visual data, etc. But interestingly enough, there is one more form of data that evolves, rises from your behavior. For example, you are a nice person at your home and in the company of your friends. So if someone asks your friends about how is your behavior, they say that you are a calm, cool, and collected person. Yeah, you mind your own business, you help others, you're a very nice person. So all these traits evolve from your behavior with them over the time. Okay, so they monitored your behavior and then they formed their opinion that you are a nice person. So this data that you're a nice person that they're telling to someone else came from your behavior with them over the time. Okay, assume that you visit an online shopping store and you buy some clothes. Okay, those clothes are ordered, they arrive at your place, they look nice on you, and then the next time you go on the same store or even similar store these days, because these data is often shared, you see that you recommended similar products to ones that you already bought before. So all these recommendation system, they work due to the behavioral data generated by the user on internet. Now let's talk about two important categories of data, that is structured data and unstructured data. Structured data is organized like a neat filing cabinet, such as the one we see on the left side. Whereas unstructured data is more like paper or files spread across a desk, like a pile, as we can see in the image on the right. Structured data has clear rules and format. Examples can be spreadsheets, databases, polls, surveys. So think of structured data as the form of data which you can see and immediately pick an order from it. You can immediately recognize that there's an order, there's a clear pattern in this data, that it is structured in some particular way. Whereas unstructured data has no clear organization. Example can be social media posts, emails, photos, videos, audio files. These are the examples of unstructured data where any form of data can occur anywhere. In this example as well, we can see that the structured data has order to it, and the unstructured data has no order. There is no clear pattern visible at the first glance. But the unstructured data can be structured. There are different ways to do it, and we will explore them later. Now, let's understand this further with the help of an example. This reel is a good example of structured versus unstructured data. Uh, some components of this post are unstructured and some are structured. For example, the video content, the video itself is unstructured because it's creative, free form. Anything can come in the beginning of the video and anything can happen in the end. You don't really know. Okay. And same goes for the comments. Like uh, comments can be anything, can take any form. Someone can say nice, someone can say +1. There can be numbers, there can be alphanumeric values. So it's free text. Anyone is like allowed to type in whatever they like. Whereas when we talk about the number of views and the number of likes, these two uh, attributes of this post are structured. Why? Because there's a clear order to it. Uh, Views are numerical values; they can only increase as, and so same is the case with the likes. These are numbers; they can either increase or decrease uh, depending on the audience and the engagement of the post. So here we have clear structure. That is, the views and the likes are numeric values, and they can either increase or decrease. So structured data is like having ingredients labeled and measured, very easy to use. Uh, and unstructured is like having ingredients in varying forms that need more preparation. Think of it as you bring in grocery, bring in ingredients to bake a cake. Uh, that is unstructured. But then you prepare those ingredients, you put them in measuring cups properly, and then you transform that unstructured ingredients into structured ones with more precision and measurement. Now that we have developed basic understanding of the concept of data, let's try to build our first relation between data and the artificial intelligence. We can say that the data is the fuel for AI. Now, why data is fuel for AI? For example, a car or a vehicle, motor vehicle, runs on fuel. It can't run without fuel because it has internal combustion engine or it has electric motor. So it needs fuel to run. In case of combustion engine, it can be gasoline. And in case of electric motor, it can be electricity. So it needs some source of energy. Similarly, in the case of AI, the data is essential in the working of AI. Okay, the data serves as the fuel or the source of energy for the AI because data contains all the patterns from the human behaviors, and the AI learns from those patterns. And if there is no data, there are no patterns to learn from. So if we can say that initially or fundamentally, the AI learning process involves learning the patterns from the data. Okay, so if the data set is small, the collected information, the stored information is small, the AI model that you can build on top of it that can learn patterns from it will be small as well because there's few patterns to learn. And in the same way, if the data set is large, then the AI model can learn more patterns and more behavior from the data. Example of it is the ChatGPT itself. The model behind it, the GPT model, is trained on enormous amount of data collected all across the internet, and that includes most of the human behavior. And that's why it can mimic our intelligence while talking to us. So we can say that the more the data, the better the learning of the patterns and the better the AI can be. Here are the few more examples that we can give. There are different AIs that need different forms of data to learn the patterns from, such as if you're building an AI to translate the data, so it needs the language data from one language to another in order to learn the patterns for translation. Similarly, image recognition AI needs label data with images and their labels so it can learn that pattern, the underlying the patterns in the data, that what image or pixel values may correspond to what label. So this is the AI can learn from the data. So to conclude this video, we have formed an initial understanding of the data. We will build on top of it in the later episodes. We can say that the data is all around us. Our brain processes data all the times, and then we further categorize the data into structured and unstructured data. And finally, we have built our first relation between the AI and the data. And in the coming episodes, we will build on top of these concepts. And we will go from intermediate all the way to advanced concepts so that the learning is easy and one at the end of it, one may be able to understand all the nuances and the intricacies of AI. So thanks for watching the AI Learner. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you in the next episode.